Hi, it's DL, and I wanted to share with you some of the myths surrounding yoga and break them wide open so that you can decide for yourself whether yoga is something for you based on the facts. So let's begin with myth number 1, the idea that yoga is a physical exercise regime. And sure, it does involve the body, but that is really a reductionist view as the West has interpreted the practice of yoga. Really, yoga is not just the asanas or postures, but it's also pranayama, which is breath. It's also meditation. It can be studies, wisdom studies. It can be service. It can be so many things. So this idea that it's simply for exercise is a misconception. It's really, yoga means union, and it's really about working mind, body, and spirit and finding the connections there. So that's myth number 1. Myth number 2. Yoga is for the young and flexible. And sure, if you've seen pictures of these people with, legs in the back of their head and whatnot, you might think, my gosh, I can't do that, so I can't do yoga. But this is also a misunderstanding because it's really not about that. I know of people in their 80s and 90s, probably even in their hundreds, that are doing yoga. In fact, I just read about one woman who just started to do yoga in her 80s. So you don't have to be young, and you don't have to be flexible. The flexibility comes with the practice, and you don't have to compare yourself to anyone else. It's about you and your body. All right, myth number 3. Yoga is a religion. Okay, now this one's a little complex. Yoga did originate in the Indian culture, which is very rooted into their spirituality. But if this is the only myth that's holding you back from yoga, I want to make it clear it's really not about that religion. It's about your spirituality, your connection to your source, and yoga will develop and strengthen that. So don't let that hold you back. Yoga is about, it's a path toward a moral life, it's a path toward a disciplined life, and it's about bringing out the best Christian or Muslim or atheist or whatever. So it's open to anyone. All right, let's go on to myth number 4. Myth number 4. Yogis have to be vegetarian. Okay, and this is, it's true that by and large, many yogis are vegetarian, but not all of them are, and you don't have to be. There is a precept in yoga about not doing harm, and a lot of people interpret this as not eating animals to bring harm to the animals. So it's an interpretation, and it by no means bars people who are carnivores from doing yoga. I'm not strictly a vegetarian. I mostly am because it's just how I feel better when I eat that way, and I don't need much meat, but every now and then I feel like I do. So it's not about being vegetarian or not. Myth number 5. Yoga isn't for everybody. Okay, well, I disagree with this idea because there are so many different kinds of yoga, as I've already talked about. It's about finding the aspect or aspects of yoga that work for you. And that might be meditation, that might be pranayama and breathing, it might be devotional chanting. There are so many windows into yoga, and it's about what helps you develop as a person and helps you connect. Even in terms of a physical practice, the poses can be modified. You can use props. You can do yoga by chair, which is something that's being taught now for aging populations because it's much gentler. So you can work slow and you can honor your own body in yoga, and it's really anybody and everybody, whether you've had surgeries or injuries of any kind, if you have an illness, there's going to be something out there for you. All right, myth number 6. There's only one type of yoga. Okay, well, we've already discussed that there are many paths of yoga, pranayama, the meditation, but there are also many different styles of yoga. And, there's Ashtanga and Vinyasa, which are very similar. Ashtanga being a very set series of poses that you do in a particular sequence. Vinyasa being similar, but having a little more flexibility in how the poses are arranged. There's one breath, one movement. But there's also yin yoga, which is a very slow kind of stretching the fascia tissues. There's restorative yoga, which uses a lot of props and is very relaxing. There's Kundalini, which is a whole new world. It's very uses a lot of breath and chanting and repetitive movements, strengthening, really tied into the nervous system and the mind. I love it. I love Kundalini yoga. So if I had, when I first started doing yoga, gone to an Ashtanga class and thought that was yoga, I probably wouldn't be doing yoga today. The style doesn't suit me. It's too confining and restricted and kind of boring for me. Sorry. Hope that doesn't offend anybody. So if the first class you ever went to was a particular style you didn't like and you've decided yoga's not for me, well, you could be missing out on a whole other world of the types of yoga that are out there. So try again. All right, myth number 7, yoga classes are all alike. Okay, and just as there are many different styles of yoga and approaches, there are many different teachers, and every single teacher is going to be unique. The thing with yoga and the teacher is that the teacher's bringing her or his personal practice to you and sharing those insights to help inform your own practice and help you find your own insights. And we're all going to have different ways of doing that. Plus, we're going to be adding different elements depending on what we've learned. So I know for myself, I bring in a lot of meditation because I love meditation, and that's kind of where I started with the whole yoga thing. I use a lot of music also, not necessarily music, but sound healing, because I have a background in that. And so my classes are going to be quite a bit different from another teacher's who maybe had a background in Qigong or Pilates or some other type of movement. You are going to resonate with one style more than another. So if you don't like one teacher, try another teacher. It can be a whole different universe again. All right, let's see. Myth number 8 is the idea that yoga isn't a good enough workout. There's this idea, especially in the West, that you have to, no pain, no gain. You have to push and strive and really sweat to get a good workout. And you don't. And in fact, the chances are you could be doing yourself harm over the long run versus doing yourself any good. The thing with yoga is it is teaching you how to move your body more intelligently and with less stress and strain. And so it's really about listening to your body and your internal wisdom. I know from my own experience that a good pranayama session can be a better workout sometimes for me than doing something more active. And in fact, I've done really deep, slow types of yoga practices, the asanas, postures, and have found myself to be more fatigued, and like I got a deeper workout from doing it that way. So yoga might surprise you. Okay, myth number 9. If you can't do the pose, you can't do yoga. This is just a big misconception. It's really not about the pose. Yoga is, like I've said, it's a journey to help you know more about how your body moves. The body you were born with, not someone else. It doesn't matter how anyone else moves. It's how this body that you've been given moves. And we learn through that journey, how to move without harm, without tension. We open up the body in new ways. And then, yoga becomes, we can let go of that mental concept of, a posture has to look a certain way. And we can allow our bodies to decide, this is the posture or the pose for this body. All right, and our last myth number 10, is that I can't do yoga. I've tried. Okay, and for all the reasons that I've already listed, if you've tried, you might have not had the best experience, and there might be another experience that would suit you perfectly. So don't give up yet. You simply have to find your yoga. What helps you feel centered? What helps you feel invigorated and healthy? What helps bring you into alignment and a center that helps you in your everyday life? Because that's your yoga. All right, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. The website is dlcsco.com, and I hope to see you again. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.